Hello again, everyone. Uh, so today I'm going to finish the set of lecture slides on object-oriented design. I'm going to do one more example of a simple program, really, to manage enrollment of students in courses. Uh, and this one is going to do some uh, is going to contain at least one method that does something more complicated than just get and set methods, than simple accessor methods that we've seen so far. And when we once we finish this next week, we'll start working with strings, different classes in the Java API that help us deal with strings, how to process text. So that's for next time. Basically, the lessons in this lecture were about how to design a class, keep relevant stuff within the same class, um, uh, separating responsibilities, designing classes for reuse so that once you've spent the time on making a certain class, maybe write it in such a way that you can reuse the same class, the same code in other projects in the future. Um, there's one point here at the bottom of the slide. Provide a public no-arg constructor. We've been doing that for a while now. And override the equals and toString methods defined in the object class whenever possible. So um, we already looked at the toString method. I said that even if you don't write a toString method of your own, every class by default already has one. Now, after we deal with strings next week, starting next week, we'll get to another topic called inheritance, and that's basically when we'll really get to this, get to understand what this object class is, and how it relates to this equals method and this toString method, and why it is that every class, even the ones that we are writing, already have these two methods, and why it is important to override them. Basically, yeah, it's basically exactly what it sounds like. Basically, um, define our own methods instead of the ones that Java is somehow giving us. So we'll get to that. Uh, among a few other things, so follow standard Java programming style and naming conventions. We have been using something called the camel case convention for variable names, etc. So um, don't make up your own, stick to something standard. Um, as for what goes inside of classes, always put the data before the constructors, put the constructors before all the other methods. And always initialize your member variables in the constructor. Don't leave anything, don't rely on the Java compiler's defaults. Make sure you do that on your own. We'll get to talk more about visibility modifiers, another one that you haven't seen yet, in addition to public, private, and default, which is really not any keyword, is protected. Now, again, this is another visibility modifier that we'll really get into when we talk about inheritance. Okay, finally, yeah, the static modifier, if there ever is, like we've seen in some past projects, if there ever is a data member which should be shared by all copies, all instances, all objects of the same class, declare it static. Okay, so let me begin with today's code. Again, you'll find this in also in the slide 21 of lecture 4, object-oriented design, or OOD. Um, this is basically the UML class diagram of the class I'll be writing now. Um, Actually, this one's missing something. I'll also add, so obviously this is a class that maintains the name of a course, the students, a list of an array, a string array of names of students in the class, and a count of the number of students that are in the class. Um, a couple of methods over here. You can see we have an add student method. What we don't have is the reverse of that, a drop or remove student method. So I'll add that in. Okay. So let's get started. Here we are. I already have a blank project, and I'm going to start by adding a Java class called course. There you go. Okay. Um, okay. So let's start with the data members. String for the course name, string array for the students, and number of students. Okay. So there we are. Okay. All right. So we have a private string for the course name. We have a private string array for the students, and we will also create this array at the same point. And um, so for the purpose of this program, I'll just hard code the size of this string array to 100, which, as you would see later, will allows me to enroll up to 99 students into one course. And then we have a counter variable called number of students, and that's that. Okay, let's add a constructor. So first of all, let's have a default a no arg constructor, public course, and let's say we set the course name equal to unspecified. There you go. And number of students is set to 0. Okay. Let me also add another one, something more useful, one that takes a string to be made the course name, and because I'm calling this the same, giving this local variable the same name as the member variable course name, to distinguish between the two and use this keyword. Okay, done with that. Number of students, still initialized to 0. And I'm just going to rely on Java to initialize all the strings in the students array, to initialize them all to null strings or empty strings. Okay. Okay, so what else? I got this constructor, even added a no arg constructor, and get name returns the course name. Okay. Public method that will return a string called get name, and it returns the course name. What else? Add student, get students, which is all students, the whole array of students, and get number of students. So get number of students. That's another easy one. Public int get number of students. There you go. Okay. Get students is easy. Do that one. Another accessor method. I'm sorry. This will return a string array. Okay. And notice that we are returning the entire students array. Okay. This is a reference, so this is returning the array as a reference. Okay. Then we need an add student method, which takes a string called student as an argument, and we just go to the last entry. So this will put the past string student at the end after the last entry in the student's array. Remember, arrays start at 0, and we just increment the number of students counter. And done. That's how easy it is to add a student. And we need a corresponding function, method, for making students drop out of a course. Okay. Okay. Now for this, we get a string of a student name as argument, and we have to search for that string in the entire students array, which means we have to go through the array, which means we need a loop. We don't know where that particular student is going to be, where his or her name is going to be stored. So I'll be needing a loop. So I'll initialize a counter variable. I'll create a Boolean variable found, which will record whether or not I've found the student's name yet. I'll need that. And then I have a loop over here starting at the beginning, going to the end of the student's array. I'll make this very simple, easy to understand, and starting from the beginning, if I haven't found the student yet, and if the name I'm looking at happens to be the same name that I'm looking for, I set found equal to true. I decrement the number of students counter. But if I haven't found the student yet, actually, hold on. If found if found is not equal to false, if it is true, which means I've already found the student, it means that I already found him early in the array. In that case, I have to copy the current student I'm looking at. I have to move that name one position back. That's what I'm doing over here. Students I minus 1 is equal to students I. Okay. All right. The code in the so the way I did it in the drop student, the way I coded the drop student method, A, may not be immediately obvious to you. So and B, it's not the only way you can do things. It's not the only way you can do this, accomplish this task. You can do it another way. If you don't understand this, figure it out. Okay, convince yourself of it. Okay. This. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. This is supposed to be comparison, not an assignment. So students I equal to student. Okay. 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 Looks like my course class is complete. Let's go to the main method and see if we can make some actual use of this. So, um, so let me create one course. Let's call it course 1. It's going to be a new object of the class course, and this one is programming 1. Heck, let's give it a name. CCCS202 programming 1, and let's make another one. Let's call this course 2, and this is CCCS203 string programming 2. There you go. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I always get the case on the O wrong. Okay. All right. Let's begin with course 1. Let me add a student. Okay. All right. Let's call this guy Yad bin Ali. There you go. First guy. And let's add another student. Turki Abdullah. Let me add another guy. Ammar Khalid. Okay. And also have a second course. So let me add some people to course 2. How about Umar Nabil? Okay. And another one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. student Hasan Talal. Okay, so I guess we have got something to work with. Okay, so let's print out some stuff. Let's say we print out number of students um, in course 1 dot get name. So we'll insert the course name, and to make it look really neat, colon after that, and then I call course 1 dot get number of students. There you go. And what I can also do is go back up here, turn 0, put in a for loop, starts at 0, I less than course 1 dot get number of students, and system out dot print. So I'm just going to print all the student names on the same line. To get the students first. So what I do is this. I create a string array object called students, and this will be a list of a reference to the list of students I obtained calling the get students method. So I'm making use of almost all methods except the drop student method so far. Okay. And when I go through this and I print students I okay. And I want to do the same thing for the other course, so I'm just going to copy paste this for course 2. So the students string array object reference is already defined, so don't put this over here. Course 2, there you go. See if this works. No. What's this? Another typo. There you go. So, number of students in CCCS122 programming 1, 3. Ayad bin Ali Turki Abdullah Mar Khalid. I think this can benefit from a print line. good. Put one over here. Again, add. Yeah. Actually, let me add another one. Okay, so number of students in CCCS122 Programming 1. That's the first course. Three students, Ayad bin Ali, Turki Abdullah, Ammar Khalid. Then I made the second course, Programming 2. That guy has only two students, Omar Nabil and Faisal Talal. Let's also very quickly go to course 1 and try dropping a student. Drop student, and I drop a student by giving a name. Let's see, which of these do we want to drop? How about Ammar Khalid? Okay. I drop student Ammar Khalid from course 1. And actually, better way. So I'm done with that. Let me just print out enrollments in course 1 and course 2 and print them out again. Let's run this. Variable students is already defined in method main. Yes, it is. Let's take this out, of course. Yes, too much copy pasting. There you go. Okay. So first I had number of students 3 in course 1, programming 1. Three guys, Ayad, Turki, Ammar, and Umar Abil and Faisal Talal in the other course. Then I dropped Ammar Khalid, and as you can see, number of students in 202 goes from 3 to 2, and Ammar Khalid's name is not in the list anymore. I could have done course 2. Let me try removing someone from course 2. Course 2, let me remove Umar Nabil. His is the first name, first of the two. Umar Nabil. There you go. There you go. Now, instead of removing Ammar Khalid, I removed Umar Nabil from the second course. And there you go. So, it's a simple example of how these things work. Actually, we could have put all of this stuff into the toString method. That would have been fine too. Okay, maybe you can try that. Nothing to it. Okay, guys. So that's it for this set of lecture slides. I'll let you know what I hear about the exam schedule for our first midterms, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good day.